It's the early 2000s. You're sitting in a coffee shop, laptop open, working on a deadline. Around you, the place hums with quiet energy.
A new era has begun. I will now take over ScrollSniper. And what I'm about to show you is how Apple turned a simple glowing logo into one of the most brilliant marketing moves of all time. You're in that cafe again. At first, nothing seems unusual, just students and professionals hunched over screens. But then you notice something strange. All across the room, laptop lids are lifted, glowing with the same crisp white symbol. That bitten apple, shining like a neon badge. It doesn't help you type faster. It doesn't make the laptop cheaper. That glow wasn't for the user. It was for everyone else. Every open MacBook became a miniature billboard. Not on TV, not on a highway, right there in your line of sight. Customers weren't just working, they were advertising Apple for free. But here's the fascinating part. This wasn't luck. It was a deliberate choice, one rooted in psychology. A strategy that, if you understand it, explains why some ideas spread like wildfire, while others vanish without a trace. And to uncover it, we need to rewind to the moment Apple literally flipped its logo upside down.
And at Apple, we had such a symbol. Matter of fact, at Apple, it was very rare because the symbol was the name of the company. It was a thing that had the same name as the company in Apple.
Flipping the logo. In the late 1990s, Apple was fighting to survive.
Oh, you know, I decided probably about 9 months ago that wasn't my problem. So I stopped thinking about it, and I stopped worrying about it.
Microsoft ruled the market. Dell and HP churned out millions of laptops.
But I will say that because of the shift into enterprise IT services by Dell, they're pushing into a higher margin part of the business. They're also...
Apple was the underdog. Innovative, yes, but small. When the design team worked on Apple's notebooks, they ran into a peculiar design question. How should the logo face? For years, Apple oriented the logo for the owner. When the laptop was closed on your desk, it looked correct to you. But when you opened the lid, it appeared upside down to the rest of the world. Steve Jobs hated this.
And we went through the roof about this. So we said, no, we're not going to allow this.
He believed the true audience wasn't the owner. It was everyone watching the owner use it. In meetings, in classrooms, in airports. So Apple flipped the logo. And soon after, thanks to clever engineering with the display's backlight, the logo began to glow. It was more than a design tweak. It was theater, a symbol that shined in every public space, silently whispering, "This is Apple. This is creativity. This is different." And that glow turned ordinary users into marketers. But why was this such a big deal? Why did a glowing logo matter so much? To answer that, we need to step away from Apple and into psychology. Public strategy explained. Marketing professor Jonah Berger calls this principle public. In his book Contagious, Why Things Catch On, he boils it down to one phrase: built to show, built to grow.
And in fact, people have looked at the data, and not only is word of mouth cheaper, but it's over 10 times as cost effective as traditional advertising. And there are two key reasons why. Any ideas why? Why word of mouth is so much more effective than traditional advertising? Yeah.
Humans are copycats. We imitate. If we see lots of people using something, we assume it must be valuable. If no one sees it, it doesn't spread. Apple's glowing logo wasn't just decoration, it was psychology in action. It made Apple laptops more visible than any other brand, and visibility drives imitation. Think about it. When you walked into a cafe and saw 10 laptops, 8 with glowing apples, which brand did you notice? Which brand looked popular? Which brand felt like the right choice? That's the public principle. And once you see it, you realize it's hiding everywhere. Companies, causes, even cultural movements harness it, often without you realizing. Take something as odd as mustaches in November. Movember, Lululemon bags, Starbucks cups. In 2003, two friends in Melbourne, Australia, joked about bringing back the moustache. Just for a month. They grew them out, and soon people asked, why the moustache?
Tell us more about Movember. You've been with the organization for about 4 years now. Can a mustache really change the face of men's health?
Yeah, we like to think so. This is my 5th Movember mustache.
That question sparked conversations about men's health. What started as a joke became Movember, a movement that spread across the globe. The genius? A mustache is impossible to ignore. It's right on your face. It sparks questions, and every conversation spreads the cause. No billboards, no commercials, just millions of mustaches, each one a walking ad. But causes aren't the only ones who've mastered public. Brands use it too, some more obviously than others. Walk into a Lululemon store and buy yoga pants, and you don't walk out with a plain bag. You walk out with a reusable tote, sturdy, bold colors, covered with motivational slogans. People carry those bags everywhere. To the gym, to work, to the grocery store. And every time they do, they broadcast the brand. The bag isn't just packaging, it's identity, a signal that says, I'm part of this lifestyle. And while Lululemon made bags visible, another company made sure its symbol was in your hands almost daily. A white cup, a green siren, a name scribbled in black marker. The Starbucks cup is one of the most recognizable objects in modern culture. It's not just a container for coffee, it's a status signal.
Their white cups are iconic, and now Starbucks is brewing up lofty new promises for change.
Carry it into class or a meeting, and you're showing everyone you don't just drink coffee, you drink Starbucks. And here's the subtle genius. The logo always faces outward. Everyone else sees it. Starbucks didn't need to plaster cities with ads. Their customers carried the ads for them, paying for the privilege. And that same brilliance was alive in Apple's glowing logo, the sharp point. Here's the pattern. Apple's glowing MacBooks, Movember's mustaches, Lululemon's bags, Starbucks cups. They're all built to show, and because of that, they grow. But Apple went further. They didn't just make a logo visible. They made it aspirational. They made it glow. That glow turned classrooms, cafes, and offices into Apple showrooms. Customers didn't just buy a computer. They bought the privilege of carrying Apple's billboard into the world. And the same idea keeps resurfacing. Think of the white earbuds that came with every iPod. They weren't the best headphones on the market, but you couldn't miss them. Bright white cords dangling in a sea of black headphones, screaming that you were part of something different. Or today, when a simple dance trend on social media spreads faster than any paid ad. It's not about the product alone, it's about visibility. When people see it, they copy it. And when they copy it, it grows. That's why the Apple logo didn't just shine, it spread, it went viral. Because when the world can see your brand, you don't have to scream for attention. The world does the marketing for you. And that's the story. I'm Xavier, your guide inside ScrollSniper. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious.